mom came into the room and she's like, look at my phone. And then I couldn't see it, so I had to look at mine. I'm like, oh.
I can't bet against Tom Brady. I have the Bucks winning 31-27 and Tom Brady going to his 10th championship.
Yeah, and I really think the Clippers' chance to win the championship was last year. And they were up 3-1 against the Denver Nuggets.
Chris Paul is one of the most underrated players of all time. He's been the best player wherever he goes, and that includes with the Rockets.
You said you can't bet against Tom Brady, and as a Cowboys fan and what I just did last weekend, I am not going to bet against Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. I mean, that's all I can really say. There's two of the top 5 players in the league, and they are very, very good.
Hello, I'm Taylor Hearn, and you listen to The Outsiders' Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NBA Opinions of the Week. This one is a little bit funny because we talked about who'd you rather be. And in that video, a few days ago, I talked about the Knicks and possibly moving on from Tom Thibodeau. And of course, the man across from me, Austin, said no, that wouldn't be the right move. And then eventually it did happen. So now they're currently talking about interviewing Jason Kidd. So Austin, just kind of what are your thoughts on this Knicks move?
I don't think it's the right move, but I understand it. And I think that can be true. Tom Thibodeau has had a lot of success bringing teams from nothing to something. He did the same thing with the Timberwolves, who hadn't been in the playoffs for a while, and he brought them to success. Same thing with the Bulls. He brought them to a lot of success. And same thing with the Knicks. I mean, he's been an impressive coach getting to the point of success, but not actually getting over the hump. But I don't think they give him a fair shot here. I mean, in the last 4 years, they went from out of the playoffs to losing the first round, losing the second round, losing the third round. I think whenever you see that like stalling out is when I'd make the change. But they're deciding to make the change immediately. Do you win a title with Tom Thibodeau as your head coach? I don't know. I can't say you do or you don't. But obviously the Knicks felt like that a change was necessary. My biggest problem with it is who are you signing now? Who is the guy you're turning to immediately to make your team a title contender or keep them as a title contender if you already viewed yourself as such?
So yeah, kind of looking at it, I wasn't totally in favor, but I wouldn't be shocked because they have the roster. But I was thinking about it. I was like, well, there are some pretty good coaches available right now, or coaches I think you and I are high on. Mike Budenholzer. You also have Michael Malone, which I forget he is not with the Nuggets.
That's true. And
you also have.
Sorry to interrupt. One second. Do you think, and this is just a tangent that I want to go on before I forget it, do you think if you hired Budenholzer, that would increase the odds of Giannis wanting to go to New York?
It's a good question. I do think Giannis liked Budenholzer. You also do have Giannis and Kidd, that connection.
That's true.
Because Giannis was upset. Yeah, and I just wanted to mention, you also have the Sacramento Kings coach that I can't remember.
Mike Brown.
Mike Brown. So this is a saturated market of coaches that if you were to make the move, there are a lot of coaches that you could get. Where I don't think you have this saturated of a market next year if you have another deep playoff run and move off, because Budenholzer could be hired. Malone, I just don't see those guys staying. Same thing with you just said his name, Brown.
Mike
Brown. And I would be really happy with any of those hires. I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting a coach. You could go after Lakers former head coach, Jason, 2020 head coach. I don't think he's anywhere, right? He was also the Pacers
Frank
head coach.
Vogel?
Frank Vogel. I don't know why I said Jason.
I don't know. Yeah, when you said Jason, I'm like, I don't know a Jason, but okay, I know a Frank Vogel.
Could go with him. So Budenholzer is a good option, especially if you do go after Giannis. I don't think that deters, I don't think Giannis really cares about the coach. I don't see him being a guy.
I think he does. I don't think that's if you remember a couple years ago with the Bucks, they kind of had a falling out mid-season, right? With coaching wise. I mean, 2 years ago, I think it was. They ended up finishing because Adrian Griffin went 30-13, and then was like they agreed to part ways. I don't think he was actually fired, from what I understand, but same difference. They came to an agreement that he should not be the head coach anymore after going 30-13. So I think the head coach matters at least some.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt. I don't think in either. I'm really interested on Jason Kidd because I'm curious what is his relationship like with Brunson.
Yeah.
So I don't blame Kidd jumping ship. I think if I were him, I would take the job because you don't know how long this Mavs thing is going to go and where it's going to go.
True. And Kidd has had a success as a coach, so.
Yeah, I also just realized you have the Memphis Grizzlies head coach, Taylor Jenkins.
That is true.
So I don't think they'll get worse with this hire. It's just, I think there is a higher ceiling with any of those coaches. I wasn't a huge fan of Thibodeau, but I am curious. That is a good point of if they bring in Budenholzer, could this be seen as kind of a move to get Giannis and just kind of hey, we have your coach that you won with. I'm trying to think who would be best for the job because I do think there's a center issue with Cat and who would be the best to work with that and kind of help them defensively.
Yeah, I think it is very, very interesting question. And how much are you thinking about the potential of a KD trade or a Giannis trade? And is Cat included in those trades or whoever it is? And how much is the coach actually going to impact that? We'll see. I think there's a lot of – I don't think the Knicks know who they're going to go with yet. But, I mean, the Kidd one is very interesting. And, yeah, I think – Kidd or Budenholzer, both prior coaches of Giannis, could be seen as that.
Yeah, so we'll have to keep an update. I do think it's an extensive search because I believe this is the only head coach opening right now. All the others, I think.
I don't know if it's the only head coach opening because there were some interim coaches mid-season. I think the Grizzlies head coach is interim.
Okay, well, I thought so with the Nuggets, they chose the interim.
Yes, but I think I don't know if the Grizzlies head coach is actually their head coach or their interim head coach.
Okay. I'm looking at so it looks like they chose Tuomo Lisso or Aisolo, the guy who was the interim, as I'm looking at this ESPN article. So I'm very interested to see what happens. But I do think I don't think they go with a new head coach. I think they look at an established head coach.
Well, especially because of where they are, right? They just made the Eastern Conference Final. So you want a coach that's been there and done that. Or if hasn't won it, you believe can. Like a Kidd.
Yeah, that's very true because Kidd hasn't, but he has gone farther than Thibodeau recently with the finals appearance, but there was still a lot left to be desired from that. So, yeah, very interested. I'll let you close this one out.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. Please let us know who you guys think the Knicks will hire and how you guys feel about the Tom Thibodeau firing.